In less than an hour, a Chinese court will announce the fate of former provincial party chief Bo Xilai. Bo is charged with bribery, embezzlement and abuse of power. We spoke with CCTV's Han Bin, who's monitoring the situation at the court. He explained to us why this case has taken much longer than most other cases and what's next after the verdict is announced.
Well, the case of Bo Xilai has taken longer than other cases, but based on China's criminal law, from the time the defendant is charged until the verdict is announced, it will be no more than 2 months. And on Bo Xilai's case, as long as the final verdict is announced by the end of this month, it will fall within the legal framework. Bo Xilai's case stands out because of its unprecedented level of public scrutiny and exposure. Details of the transcripts of his trial has been publicized through the Xinjiang Weibo and the micro blogs. So some may fear this may put some of the pressures to the judges to make a fair and reasonable decisions. It is definitely a huge challenge to test the wisdom and professionalism, and some could say it is a defining moment for China's legal history. About the verdict is really hard to call, but many Chinese, and including the legal observers, quite believe whatever the verdict, one thing is for sure: Bo Xilai will never return to China's political life. And if you watch Bo Xilai's trial, it will be surprising to see that he doesn't appeal. And if the announcement of the verdict comes that he's guilty, that he has the right to appeal within 10 days, that's his option. And if he takes the appeal, the case will go to the High People's Court in Shandong province, and that will take some 2 months. And that is the second trial. And after that, he has no options, and he'll be stalked by the final sentencing. So we can expect the whole trial could end by the end of this year. Han Bin, CCTV.
The seriousness in tackling corruption in China is clear. President Xi Jinping, who is also General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, says corruption threatens the party's very survival, and he's vowed to fight it at every level, or as he put it, from the tigers to the flies. Here we look at some of those who have already been toppled in the crackdown.
China's anti-corruption campaign is unparalleled. Dozens of high-ranking officials have been sacked, including 9 at ministerial and provincial level. Li Chuncheng, former deputy secretary of CPC Sichuan Provincial Committee, is accused of taking bribes for promotion. Li is also suspected of taking bribes for real estate projects and selling government positions. Yang Dacai, former work safety chief of Shanxi province, was sentenced to 14 years in prison and fined 50,000 yuan. Yang was charged with taking bribes and holding a huge amount of property. All his bribes and illegal gains have been confiscated. Lei Zhengfu, former secretary of CPC Beibei District Committee in Chongqing Municipality, was investigated following a sex video scandal. He was later sentenced to 13 years in jail for receiving bribes of more than 3 million yuan. Until March of this year, Liu Tianan was vice minister of China's top economic planning body. He was put under judicial investigation, accused of taking advantage of his position to seek profits for others. He is suspected of taking bribes exceeding 150 million yuan. The list of fallen officials also includes former Railways Minister Liu Zhijun. He has been given a suspended death penalty for taking bribes and abuse of power, making him the highest-ranking official to pay the ultimate price for such offenses.